Hello and welcome to Smaulgld's People's Bank of China's gold reserves update for the month of June 2017. Before we get started, I'd like to invite you to stay to the end of this YouTube video because I have a special treat, a special unboxing, a World War II unboxing for those of you who are interested, have historical interest in World War II. So please stay to the end and check out the special Smaulgld World War II unboxing. Let's get into the People's Bank of China. They added no gold to their reserves again in June. People's Bank of China U.S. Treasuries holdings, however, have been rising for the past several months, while their gold reserves have remained flat since October 2016. People's Bank of China gold reserves are at 1,842.6 tons, the same as October 2016. So from October 2016 to June, the end of June 2016, People's Bank of China has had on its balance sheet 1,842.6 tons. People's Bank of China's foreign reserves, however, have been rising now for the fifth month in a row. They were up 3.22 billion in May to a total of 3.057 trillion. People's Bank of China foreign reserves had been falling. They fell 320 billion in 2016 and 513 billion in 2015. So 2017 looks like a rebuilding of People's Bank of China's foreign reserves. Now, as to gold, the People's Bank of China announced back in 2015 the amount of gold they added since 2009. So they did a catch-up report, and they've been reporting now for the past 26 months on how much gold they have on their balance sheet. They added 104 tons to reserves in 2015 and 60 tons in 2016. They've added none in 2017. Now, a lot of people will say, well, China's lying. They have more gold than that. They're hiding gold. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I published an article in Zero Hedge a couple of years ago about this. We have to distinguish the difference between the People's Bank of China and China. There's a country, China. There's entities in China. There are people in China who own gold. And then there's the Central Bank of China, the People's Bank of China. Two separate things. There is no denying gold demand in China is very strong. We're going to take a look at some charts. Imports are very strong. Demand on the Shanghai Gold Exchange is at very robust levels. So we'll take a look at those as well. But the People's Bank of China has not been adding gold to her reserves since October 2016. Let's take a look at what's going on. So as we mentioned, in June 2015, the People's Bank of China updated their gold reserves for the first time since 2009, and they reported that additional 600 tons. You can see here, they had been saying they had 1,054 tons all the way from 2009 to 2015. So for during those 6 years, it was a big mystery as to when People's Bank of China finally would report again that they would show some massive increase, maybe 5, 7, 10,000 tons of gold on their balance sheet. And when it came out in June 2015 that they only had 1658, there was a lot of people that were jumping up and down saying they're lying, what's going on. I published an article called The Case of China's Missing Gold, and basically I went through where the gold was. It wasn't on the People's Bank of China's balance sheet. While there was a lot of gold produced in China every year, over 450 tons a year, while there were massive gold imports into China every year, it just was not ending up on the People's Bank of China's balance sheet. The Chinese people were having it. The famed gold crazed Dama, or the Chinese housewives, were buying massive amounts of gold. They say Chinese citizens hold 6,000 tons of gold. Chinese state-owned banks have gold. Chinese sovereign wealth funds have gold, and perhaps even the gold on the People's Bank of China is held off balance sheet. So I don't think necessarily the People's Bank of China is lying, because the People's Bank of China, after all, is not China. But one of the things I noted at the very end of the article was that if indeed China holds this gold with the sovereign wealth fund or anywhere else in the country, anywhere else that's state-owned, if it wanted to, it can roll up all that gold onto its balance sheet in order to show more gold reserves quickly, very easily, just with one single entry. So the idea is that China has gold. No doubt about it. And the other thing is India's central bank only has 557 tons of gold. But the country of India, the individuals there have between 18 and 22,000 tons of gold. So for some reason people have been conflating China and the People's Bank of China, but they don't do that anywhere else. They don't say, well, India is lying because they say they only have 557 tons of gold. Yeah, because India, when you use the word India, you mean India, the country. You don't mean the Central Bank of India. So the Central Bank of India is probably not lying when they say they only have 557 tons of gold. Similarly, the People's Bank of China probably only does have 1,842 tons of gold on its balance sheet. They're not saying that in China there's not 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 tons. They're just saying that this is what we, the People's Bank of China, have on our balance sheet. Okay. Hey, here's another thing I found. I published a report maybe a couple of months after that in 2015. China's president confirms practice of moving official reserve assets, which include gold, to other entities in China. So there's the answer. There's no mystery. There's no lying, most likely. It's just that's how China is choosing to present its gold reserves through the People's Bank of China. All right, let's take a look here. We mentioned all this about the People's Bank of China is not China. Um, we mentioned the Chinese foreign reserves are high or dropping, and now they're that little. You can see they're starting to tick up there again. Also, U.S. holding Chinese holdings of U.S. Treasuries. Very interesting development. Oh, one other thing is this story, and I can't leave this one alone because there's the King World News, Andrew Maguire saying that there's going to be a massive sovereign gold buy, and some people are saying, oh, it's gonna be China, and they're gonna buy gold so they can back it. They can back a cryptocurrency with it. Well, China has gold coming out of their ears. They don't need to go out and buy any more gold to do this. They're certainly not going to go out and buy 250 tons of gold in a given month in order to. All that would do is conceivably, potentially ratchet up the price. They have enough gold. They have enough gold in China. If they wanted to back a cryptocurrency, they can easily do so. So rule out China as going out in a given month and trying to find 250 tons of gold, which I believe they can find anyway, but that's not the point. The point is China has enough gold, even just on the People's Bank of China's balance sheet, if they wanted to back a cryptocurrency, which I severely doubt they would, but there's no need for them to go out into the market and try to find 250 tons of gold and try to buy it all in one go. Now, U.S. Treasury, this is interesting. The world is dumping treasuries. That's an old story. That's changed in the last 6 months. Ever since Trump got elected, U.S. treasuries are now in greater demand. Ever since the Fed has raised interest rates, that makes them more in demand. So the idea that the people are dumping treasuries, that stopped. It may return again. Things may change. But for the past several months, Russia, China, and other foreign entities are adding to their U.S. Treasury holding. Here you go. Russian holdings of U.S. Treasury surge to 28-month high. So Russia is also adding to their U.S. Treasury positions. Here's your Hong Kong. That's my point. Your Hong Kong imports. They're going into China. Last month, or latest month was May, was 45 tons. But before that, it was 74 tons in April, 116 tons in March. Lots of gold going into China. And this doesn't include any gold that might be going in through the Shanghai port. So gold demand, gold ownership, very strong in China. No denying that, just not at the People's Bank of China. Here, this is Chinese gold mining production, #1 in the world. This gold here, 450 tons a year, doesn't leave China. And guess what? It doesn't go to the People's Bank of China either. It goes somewhere, but it doesn't all go to the People's Bank of China. So if you just add it up, Chinese mining, just Chinese gold mining from here to 2016, you get 5,200 tons. And what does the People's Bank of China have on its balance sheet? 1,842. It's a difference of over 3,000 tons there. Well, that just means that it didn't leave the country. It's somewhere in China. What else do we got on China? Okay, Shanghai Gold Exchange. You can track that monthly on the Smaulgld website. Here you can see each year the amount of gold that's withdrawn. It's almost equal to the annual gold mining production, global gold mining production. Last year, nearly 2,000 tons. We're on pace this year to probably do better than that. Record year 2015 to almost 2,600 tons. Plenty of gold demand in China, but it's just not all ending up at the People's Bank of China. And here's how China ranks within the top 10 gold holding nations. It is going to be surpassed possibly by the Central Bank of Russia, which is adding gold at the highest rate in the world. And number two central bank is Kazakhstan, not China. Kazakhstan has been adding 3-4 tons a month for the past several years, and they're going to crack the top 20 probably next month. You can track that on the Smaulgld site as well. Another interesting thing is Germany. I found out just by looking at the numbers and doing a little bit of research, and people helped me out. Uh, Germany sells about, I don't know, 45, 50 tons every 10 years, or ever since 2002. They sell about 4 or 5 tons a year. And that's because they sell it as part of their management of their gold reserves, whatever that means. It means selling, in order to mint coins. So that leaves the Central Bank of Germany. So none of these central banks, the Western central banks, are adding. China's not adding. Only Russia seems to be adding. Switzerland sold 60% of its gold in the early 2000s. Japan doesn't add any. Netherlands has repatriated some, but hasn't added any. India doesn't add any. UK's not even in the chart anymore. It's in the top 20. It's sold in the early 2000s. So Western central banks, actually all central banks, most central banks, are either net sellers or not buying. So they're holding, they're not selling, but they're not adding. And we're not even going to talk about the US 8,133 tons, which hasn't been audited since the 50s. By the way, if you want to add to your own gold stack, you can do so via the Smaulgld site, via the YouTube links below at BGSC, Golden Eagle Coins, SD Bullion, Money Mills Exchange. Not investment advice, but if you are going to buy gold or silver, you can compare pricing and shipping. You pay no more, no less than if you visited those sites directly, and Smaulgld gets a small commission. So please consider checking that out. Also, please consider, no, don't consider, just do it. Donate to Smaulgld, either small amount, large amount, via PayPal, via Bitcoin, via Litecoin at the addresses below, or even better, become a Smaulgld patron. I have like 5 of them, I think, on Patreon. Links are below. They're also on the side here. You can become a patron just by getting the link below the YouTube. You can just sign up on the website. Also, you can subscribe to Smaulgld by filling in your email address there. And if you're interested in silver, there's a Smaulgld silver report for $20, and it comes with 4 companion videos. They've all been completed and delivered to purchasers, but the report is still available. It goes through all supply and demand of silver. It's about 35, 40 pages. Well worth your time and money, so please check that out. All right, now let us move on to this World War II unboxing, which I think you'll find very interesting. All right, so look at this box here. We ran across this box. This is from a World War II veteran. This is a U.S. Army Field Ration K supper unit box. Now, it remained unopened. Well, the outside box is cardboard. But when you open this box, as you'll see, there's a waterproof sealed box inside that has its contents. And it's kind of wax too. It's like a wax covered box to keep the elements out. All right, so when we open up the box, check out what we found inside this box. Now these are the Ration K supper units. The Ration Ks came in a breakfast box, a lunch box, a dinner box, and a supper box. This is the final thing that you would have before you go to bed if you're out in the field in World War II. You can see what's in it. This was a can, and they give you the little key here to open up your instead of a meat, like a luncheon meat or dinner meat inside. That was destroyed by the elements. The can had decayed, and there's another picture of it where we took it out, and you can just look like it was well past its sell-by date. Then you got a chocolate bar. I got some better pictures of that in a minute. They were cigarettes. which we did not find until the end. They were stuck to the bottom of this box. This is the waterproof box. You see, we had unboxed it there. Then there were two packages of different types of biscuits, Sunshine, and these are Nabisco biscuits. You got a stick of chewing gum every day. Those are 4 cigarettes in there. You got sugar cubes, and this is some type of a bouillon paste, and this was supposedly lemon, and these collapsed. I'm glad I got a picture of them before they just crumbled into nothing and then turned into something. The inside looks something like this. But this was a lemon based to get them vitamin C type of bouillon that you add a little water to and perhaps a little sugar, and then you sprinkled it on your meat here. And there's the original box that it came in. Now I saw a YouTube on this, was someone had the same, not I think they had the dinner box, not the supper box, was in much better condition. They were actually able to open their can using this key here, and it was a cheese can. It was kind of disgusting what they had, but the guy ate these biscuits, tried to eat the gum, and he even smoked one of the cigarettes. So this is, 72, 75 years old. This is circa 1942. It's a nice find. I did a video of it, but I didn't do it. I've never done an unboxing, so I just show you the how it looks here. Here's another picture. This is once we found the cigarettes. You see, this one doesn't have the cigarettes, and I read that there were cigarettes, and I couldn't find them. They were at the bottom of the box, so I had to carve open the box to get the cigarettes which were attached there. And you can see they were Chesterfields. And there's the cellophane they were wrapped in, and that had kind of eroded as well. But these two, the cellophane on these guys, the biscuits, was still intact. So they they hadn't crumbled into nothing. They're still there. I'm sure the chewing gum is very brittle. But there you go. And that chocolate bar here, let's see if we can get, no, you can't get it any bigger. But that chocolate bar looks like it's in decent shape as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for listening and watching.